Yo, what's good? This is Casey for L King Self for Life Wrestling Takes, and you're now watching Casey for L Wrestling Take Show. I'm speechless right now because let me listen. First and foremost, I want to say welcome to the KCFL King Self for Life Wrestling Take Show. I know it's extremely late. Listen. Let me tell y'all something. If Tony Khan wants to give us a great show, he's gonna do it. Can y'all imagine if Tony Khan put forth effort in building up to this pay-per-view? I saw throughout the entire IWC, outside the few usual smirks that be shilling for the E, even some shields for the E actually had to give the show praise. Everybody and their mama was going crazy about how excellent this show was. I mean, listen. I just want my TV to be worth watching. Because if you put forth the effort in your television as much as you do your pay-per-views, Tony Khan, AEW not going to be able to be touched. It's not. Last night, Tony Khan showed you why AEW is where it's at. I mean, from top to bottom. I think I may have one complaint on this show. One. And listen, y'all know me. I always come on here. I try to be as unbiased as I possibly can. But watching this show last night, I walked away looking forward to Dynamite television. And I say, Tony Khan, you are capable of doing it. You are capable. It's not that hard, man. It's the TV part that cats want to be invested in. It ain't just the matches. Because we know the pay-per-view, that's where you do work. The TV is what sets us up for the pay-per-view. And I understand people say, well, he only got 4 pay-per-views to book a year. So it's a lot of filler that goes on. Well, that's the whole point of having great TV. That's the whole point. This is why we get on his case about giving us getting a writing team or a writing staff to help him along the way. Because I listened to the media scrum and he talked about how he doesn't really have the pressure of trying to keep up with TV ratings with this Ring of Honor stuff, because he can just go straight up, just match after match after match. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but bro, we need some storytelling. I don't just want to see great wrestling. I need some story. That's it. This is the one thing that I've been on his case about. But ladies and gentlemen, to my hardcore AEW heads, to my hardcore WWE heads, to my wrestling heads in general, whether you like Impact, New Japan, it don't matter. If you walked away from watching this show and you basically said that this show was garbage, one, that just shows that you are a hardcore hater. It's no other explanation to even go at. It's no other explanation. I watched this show from top to bottom, and I watched it, and I said, it just made me just grab my head and say, Tony Khan, put forth more effort in your TV, because what we got last night was nothing more than a stellar pay-per-view. The match that you're looking at right here, the two clowns that you see right here, gave us by far the greatest 60-man Iron Man match I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen at least 5 of them. I've seen 5. This is by far the greatest. These two men right here gave us a classic times 50. The match went from being extremely predictable going into it to when you watched it, and as it got to where we needed to go, you ain't know where they was going. They had you thinking that this man right here was about to become the AEW World Champion. That's how good these two were. It was excellent, man. I said, dog. I said I had to get this dude a standing ovation. I said, Tony Khan, man, this shows me that you do not need to do what you've been doing. I'm telling you, now more than ever, you best believe, as a hardcore AEW fan, I will be on Tony Khan's helmet left and right because of the outstanding performance that him and his crew did last night. There is absolutely no excuse for garbage booking. None. The stellar pay-per-view that we got tonight showcase that Tony Khan and company can give us great television if they want to. If they want to. We're going to break down everything from the pre-show to the very end, and I'm going to give you my take on all things. Like I say, there's one thing I didn't like. When I get there, I'll talk about it. But after everything is finished, I'm telling y'all right now, I am looking forward to Dynamite television. And we are, 4 weeks away from WrestleMania? Triple H and them, you got a lot of work to do if you plan on trying to top what Tony Khan and them did tonight or last night. You got a lot of work to do, because as of right now, I only got one match has my interest. Out of all the stories that's going into WrestleMania 39, only one match has my interest. One. This show right here, I was at 70%. The build-up was weak. It was mid. But I walked away. I can't wait to Dynamite television. I say, man, we need Dynamite and we need Rampage to matter. This week, Tony Khan, give us a thriller. Dynamite, give us a thriller Rampage. No freaking excuses. No more. Tony Khan, you are not getting any more excuses. I don't care about the ratings. I don't give a crap. No more excuses. What you decided to give us yesterday was nothing more than a stellar pay-per-view. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. We're going to break down this show. Listen, it's on. I appreciate everybody who came through to watch this review. Listen to me good. I'm going to break everything down for you. I'm going to tell you how I felt about every result from top to finish. Tony Khan, this is what we need moving forward. If All Out is your WrestleMania, that's the pay-per-view where you can book at least, maybe I'll accept 12 matches. But from here on out, I don't need no 12, 15 matches. This was great. 9 matches, 1 on the pre-show, 8 on the main card. Everybody had time to breathe. Didn't nobody feel rushed. Nothing. But we're going to break down everything, so let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. And I best believe for me, I got my money's worth. $49.95, $50 was spent. It was worth. It was worth for me. I don't know how you feel about it, but it was worth it. So, the pre-show. So this was the very first pre-show that Renee actually got an opportunity to run. She ran it, and it was this clown named RJ City or something like that. They basically talked throughout the whole show. They got the opportunity to talk to some of the different wrestlers and people who was going to be partaking in the doggone pay-per-view, from Will Hobbs to Britt to Tony. Don the Clown said a couple of things. Sanjay Dutt said a couple of things. JAS Clowns pulled up out of nowhere. So, they was just on there just to have some filler. So we open up the first pre-show match. We got Team Mark Sterling, which is, they're calling themselves the Varsity Athletes. Sound like just something you didn't threw together because the Varsity Blondes died. I'm just calling them Team Mark Sterling. Ari Daivari, Josh Woods, Tony Nese taking on the Lucha Bros, Penta El Zero, and Ray Phoenix and Mark Briscoe. This was a very fun match. They did what they had to do. The crowd was into it, and shout out to the Bay Area. Shout out to them out there in 49er town in San Francisco at the Chase Arena. They owed another pay-per-view. That crowd was stellar. Excellent job. And they got 9,000 tickets. Excellent. When they said they sold, gate was 800,000. Excellent. Great. Awesome. Fun little match. Got out here. You already know Mark and them. I mean, you already know Mark Briscoe and them had this on lock. I mean, like I said, fun little match. Everybody, listen, Mark Sterling Mark Sterling may not be the best heel in AEW, but he sure does know how to get that heat. He sure does know how to get fans to boo against him. And Ari Daivari, Josh Woods, and Tony Nese was doing everything in their power to try to get over on the Lucha Bros and Mark. But Mark Briscoe, Ray, and Penta, and they even, it's funny, they had Alex Abrahantes get involved. He got involved out there with Mark doing a little something, fans going crazy. But it ended Mark pinning. Who did Mark pin? I think he pinned, was it Nese? I think he pinned Nese. It's one or two. But they got the victory. Crowd went nuts. Crowd went crazy. And we off to the races. I said, okay, good little pre-show match. One, that's all we needed. So I seen fools crying, oh, how come Jade wasn't on the show? And even my man Red Reg asked this whole deal. Again, ladies and gentlemen, did you want her to be thrown on the show and the match be the same exact way, 5 minutes, and y'all be complaining, talk about this, they needed to be on the show? Well, Tony Khan knows that he has to continue, because he said it. People like her and everybody needs to, I'm going to have to do a better job of getting them in important storylines. So when it calls for me to put them on the show, they'll need to be on the show. Now, from here on out, it's time to be building up somebody to take that title off of Jade. Because Bryan Danielson mentioned that Jade is interested in going on the tour to Japan. That would be perfect for her. She can learn from Emi Sakura and all of them and get hit with the real stuff so that she can get that in-ring work that we know that she can do. Because I'm telling you right now, after she loses that thing and then she come back, then I'm pushing Jade into the main event spot. I am. Because the girl has everything, ladies and gentlemen. People be always running their mouth, hating on this girl. Y'all know why they hate on her. I don't have to tell you why. My main man, King Mike, always gives listen, I can't agree more with how he breaks that stuff down. He just breaks it down to the T. He breaks it down how the fans are just straight up white supremacists and, all of that bull job. You already know how it works. I just want my girl to get better in the ring. And I think her going to Japan would be the best option for her after she loses this doggone TBS title. And then she comes back ready to go, throw in the main event scene, and she can have longer matches, because that's what we want. I'm rooting so hard for this girl, man. I'm telling you, Jay get it. You better get the clown about the way. You better get the heck about the way. So we open up and we start off with Chris Jericho versus Mr. Ricky Starks Absolute. Ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong as two left shoes, and I'm glad that they decided to go this route. Jericho and Ricky Starks, crowd was into it. They singing Jericho's song. Ricky Starks come out there doing his, looking like a doggone cheerleader and all that crazy stuff. Two of them get in the ring. Now, Ricky, his ribs are taped up. So obviously that's the weakness. That's the spot that Jericho's going after. And throughout the entire match, Ricky was fighting. He was fighting, but Chris Jericho was in there doing what they needed to do. Now, what's the name of the stipulation? The JAS was banned. Well, as we move forward closer towards the end, why did Sammy Guevara come out there if they was banned? Thank God that Action Andrade came out to woodwork and got rid of him. So Aubrey was too busy paying attention to what was going on outside. Jericho went and got his back and laid that man out. So I'm thinking, okay, all right, so what's about to happen? Hits him, does the move. Ricky doesn't, he kicks out. So then that's when Jericho put him in the doggone, put him in the walls of Jericho. And then that's when Ricky switched that over, got the best of him. He said, oh, no, you don't think I'm not finna tap. So then, after all of that, all the little goofy shenanigans that was going on outside, and then, like I said, with Ricky Starks trying to get the best of Chris Jericho lays that man out. You think the match is over? No. Ricky Starks comes out the woodwork. He does his spear. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move on. Listen, Ricky Starks has beaten this man twice. The feud is over. Let's move the heck on. I thought the match was great. The right man won over. Chris Jericho did what he was supposed to do. He put the man over again. Let's move on. It's time. Ricky is being elevated, ladies and gentlemen. Now here's the deal. Tony Khan, he's being elevated. Ricky Starks must be featured dang near every day. I don't want Ricky Starks to disappear and then he cool off and then you try to bring it back again. This is great. They didn't go the route that I was hearing. They was talking about possibly bringing in. No, because that would have been lame. We did the right thing here. The right man went over. Ricky Starks wins. Great match. Great opener. The fans went crazy. That's it. That's all you need to do. So kudos to TK and company. Ricky Starks, Chris Jericho. I thought they did a great job. Ricky Starks wins. Great. So we move on to the next match. We move on to the final burial match. So this was a battle. This they call it the final burial. So this was a buried alive / casket match. So the rules was if you get the dude in the casket, what's gonna happen is the casket is gonna drop, and therefore it's a form of being buried. Christian Cage and Jungle Boy is the prime example of the super villain, the evil guy, going after the young baby face. And with the injuries that messed up both of them, because that's why this feud was prolonged. It was prolonged because Christian was hurt. So this matchup, with all the foolishness that took place, people have been talking about it. How many times I hear it? OTK can't tell no stories. He can't do this. This match was heavy with the story. It was heavy with the emotions. I'm telling you right now, as I watched this thing, and you had Christian out there with a doggone turtleneck looking extremely goofy, I was like, that's Christian. He's doing what he has to do, ladies and gentlemen. He's playing his role perfectly, getting this young man over like he was supposed to do. Time and time again throughout this match, Jungle Boy just looked like he didn't know what he was doing. It looked like it was over for him. Every time he would try to get the best of Christian, it wouldn't work. Christian would get the best of him again and again and again and again. And it was like, man, so it was getting very frustrated for Jungle Boy. So when he got him in that doggone casket, Christian, like, he laughing and everything, thinking it's about to. And listen, Christian does it right. You get the heat. Get the heat, the right kind of heat. It's not that go away heat. He's doing his role perfectly. He's about to close the casket. Jungle Boy said, heck to the freaking no, I'm getting the heck up out of there. The two of them mess around and go. So Christian, I think he went and got a chair. And then Jungle Boy went and got the shovel that was used to bury each other alive. And they whacked each other. They swung that thing. So these boys swung that thing so hard. I was like, man, this is crazy. So Jungle Boy, now he finally gets the upper hand on Christian. And now, with all of this stuff going on, Jungle Boy has him down, and as he's about to do the chair cha-cha, whatever it is, it's where you put the dude's head on top of the other chair, and then you whack him in the head. Ladies and gentlemen, Jungle Boy with the emotions that he was playing, because he know that this was the guy that basically made his career. He would be nothing in AEW without Christian, and the emotion to the fact that he has to end this man's career just played everything into it. I thought this was fantastic. I thought everybody did their role perfectly. He does the chair cha-cha, or whatever you want to call it. He does it to him. And then he gets Christian, throws him in the doggone casket, shut that thing. That casket goes shoot. And Jungle Boy wins. Jack Perry wins. Ladies and gentlemen, stellar performance. I know some people thought I've seen maybe 2 people complain about this match, but overall, the entire IWC was well pleased. I said this is what we did, and moving forward, it should be the end. This should be it. Jungle Boy and Christian Cage should go their separate ways. Now, if I'm Jungle Boy, I'm getting him set up for a potential. Now, I'm not going to have him win a title right now, but I'm just thinking, who would I have him go after? Who would you have him go after? Would you have him go after MJF, or would you have him go after Warlord? I'm not sure right now. I'm absolutely not sure, but this is TK's doing. This is TK. This is what he's going to have to do. But I thought this was fantastic. I thought everybody played their role perfectly. This was, you talk about emotional roller coaster. Perfect. That's what you want. And I'm like, TK, this is what we need on TV. The man show you that he can book when he want to book. I know cats get on his case talking about he don't know what he's doing. He does when he wants to. This is what I'm talking about. The man, if he wants to book something, he can book something great. It's not that freaking hard, man. I'm telling y'all, it's not that hard. This is perfect. I gave it a standing ovation. I thought they did well. Like I said, great job from everybody. So we get to this matchup. Now, this was the weakest story going into this show, because the fact that they only had 2 weeks to build, and I'm sitting up and saying to myself, ladies and gentlemen, the Elite need to lose these trios titles. They just do. I'm like, the House of Black have done absolutely nothing. They have done nothing. I'm like, I know the match is going to bang. And shout out to my main man, Mr. Jeff, aka OTR Central. Even him, even though he can't stand the Elite, he actually had to give them praise. He said the right team went over, and he said, even though I don't like the Elite, I don't like Kenny and the Bucks, but even I thought they didn't do as bad as, I normally take a dump on her. That's what he usually does. Ladies and gentlemen, the right team went over. First, House of Black come out. They got this demonic crap. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I tell y'all all the time. The demonic gimmicks, there's only 2 clowns that pulled the demonic gimmick off. Undertaker and Kane. They are the only 2. I understand that Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi and Julia Hart are trying to ride this gothic, satanic, occult gimmick. That's what they are. I don't really care nothing about the gimmick, but I do like them as a group. And I said, it's Tony Khan, it's time to revamp these cats. It's time to make them relevant, because every pay-per-view these boys have been a part of, they found a way to come up short. I say it makes absolutely no sense. Even with the garbage build that this matchup was had, it made absolutely no sense for these boys to go up in here and lose. None whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, they come out. They had their satanic crap on, doing all this stupid stuff. And then the Elite come out there. The whole game, Don the Clown, Brandon Cutler, Mike Nakazawa, Kenny, Matt, Nick, they come out. And they look like they're ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, when the 6 of them got in the ring, they started tearing it up immediately. Yo, listen, here's the deal. I'm not sure right now if the feud is over, but they made you want to see single matches from all of them, because that's how good this matchup was. All 6 of these dudes tore the house. And I said, Tony Khan, this is why we wish they had time to build up to this. Because every single one of us in the IWC that actually like all of these cats knew that they was going to go hard. We knew they was going to go hard in the paint. Every single one of us knew that. We just wanted some story. But with them just throwing it together right away, I said in my head, there's absolutely no way House of Black is not walking out with those trios titles. The back and forth from all 6 of them, Kenny, Malachi, Brody, Nick, Matt, Buddy, and then the scene where Julia messed around, got herself knocked out. I mean, it was just chaos, craziness, and yes, this is where you're going to get your spots. We know. The Spot Fest was coming. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I understand. They may not be everybody's cup of tea. But listen, wrestling is a mixture of all different styles that come together. That's what makes wrestling great. We don't just have to have the mat wrestling. Listen, I'm an old school dude. I like the grappling in the old school style. That is me. That's one of my favorite styles. When I see cats getting it on in the in-ring, that's great. But I'm also a fan of the spot monkey crap. I mean, yeah, some of it might be kind of stupid. But what these cats was out here doing, man, I mean, they was going in, and again, what do the elite know how to do? The elite know how to make you think that they are easily going to win. But the House of Black was just one step higher. Their minds was like, I understand what these three bring to the table. These three have, quote unquote, they are the EVP. So obviously, you know, they're going to, quote unquote, politic themselves into a win. We already know that. But here, ladies and gentlemen, they put over all three of the House of Black. House of Black found the way to win. Kenny, the Bucks, came up short, and they lose their trios titles. We now have a brand new AEW World Trios champs. Tony Khan, please book these guys right. It is time to make the trios titles relevant again. No longer will we tolerate garbage booking with these titles. The days are done. I ain't putting up with it. Most cats in the IWC are not going to put up with the foolishness. We're not putting up with it. You gave it to us. The right team won. I was happy as heck. I said, yes, the House of Black are your new trios champs. That's what you want. Now, it's all about the build moving forward, going into doggone Double or Nothing. That is what we want. I don't just want good matches. I want story. The House of Black are going to dominate the trios division. That is what we're going with. Kenny and the Bucks walked out looking extremely sad. And no, CM Punk. No. As great as this pay-per-view was, CM Punk coming through probably would have just killed the vibe. So I'm glad he did show up. But according to what Cass told me, MJF was acting a complete fool at the media scrum, mimicking, doing his best version of CM Punk. He kept talking about running around here, talking about he the best in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, CM Punk is around the corner. He's coming back. Just not right now, but he's coming back. Excellent. I thought they did great. I thought this was a great trios match. The right team won. House of Black, my boys got it done. Now TK, let the story begin. Let the story begin. That is all I got to say on this situation. So, now, this matchup, a lot of people was kind of iffy on because of who was involved. Ladies and gentlemen, I told y'all that the Blood and Guts storyline that we've been waiting on, because we've been waiting on story. Everybody been wondering why such and such is with such and such and who's with who and what. Now, I had Saraya winning, but you know what? I think the right woman went over. Jamie, Ruby, and Saraya went. They did a great job. I can't complain about nothing I've seen in this match. Everybody was out there doing what they had to work. Whatever they had to work with, they went out there and they did it. And I believe all the girls protected one another. Didn't nobody get hurt. Saraya looked good. Ruby looked good. Jamie looked good. I thought this was an excellent trios match. Triple threat. So, watching this, either one of these girls could have won. Ruby could have won. Saraya could have won. Obviously, Jamie retained. But what you had to do is pay close attention to who's moving what. And like I said, while Britt was out there, I kept watching how she kept eyeballing that title. Britt is still a question mark. So as right now, Britt is the babyface because she rolling with Jamie. But she's still a question mark. So Ruby Soho tried. She tried again. She tried. Saraya looking like she was about to easily walk. Because here's the deal. Saraya was doing the most that she could. Because you already know, Saraya has to ease her way back into this pitch. She has to ease. She ain't winning the title right now. because obviously she understands that she can only do so much. So there was a spot where they was outside the ring and they kind of quote unquote took Saraya out. So this way Ruby and Jamie could tear it up. I said that's purpose. I say they working with whatever Saraya's weaknesses, they trying to override that. So obviously they said, okay, let's knock Saraya out. We'll have Tony look at her while Jamie and Rio go at it. So then this is when Britt's quote unquote tried to get involved. Then obviously the referee was getting I think Paul had this match, if I'm not mistaken, getting distracted, getting caught up in there. And then meanwhile, Tony decided to try something. Now he getting distracted right over there. And so now this is where Saraya was able to ease on in there, because obviously I think Ruby did a move on Jamie, and then Saraya just hopped up in there acting like she was going to get the easy pin, but it didn't work. So now they going back at it, everybody doing what they got to do. And Ruby, once again, looking like she getting ready to win. She doesn't. And then that's when Saraya eased on in, and Jamie said, no, I'm about to take both of y'all out. Took them both out. Jamie ends up getting the victory. She wins. I believe she pinned Ruby, if I'm not mistaken, and she retains. So after the matchup, that's when Jamie and Britt hopped in there. Well, Britt hopped in there. So then that's when Ruby and Saraya and Tony, Jamie and Britt started beating the brakes off each other. Meanwhile, Ruby was just sitting in the corner just looking distraught. What else is there for me? I don't know. I honestly don't know what to do. So as she's sitting there, she just hops up and she clocks both Britt and Jamie. She clocks both Saraya and Tony, making you think that she's finna side with the AEW Originals. And then as soon as I think she threw them out the ring. Then that's when she clocked both Jamie and Britt, basically letting you know that she is pro WWE, so she is an outsider. Ruby Soho has officially made up her mind that she is going to roll with the heel side. And actually, I didn't see that coming. I know some people said they did. I didn't see it coming. I thought Ruby was going to play, be on the babyface side, but Ruby said, no, I'm going to ride the heel way. And I guess Ruby said, screw this bull jive. So now, here's the deal. What does this mean with Willow? Because remember, her and Willow was tight, and I know my boy Ariel don't like this. I know he don't. I know my man Ace don't like it. But Willow Nightingale will be a part of this, especially now since Ruby Soho done made up her mind. She done made up her mind, and Saraya and Tony was sitting up there laughing it up. So right now, Jamie and Britt are by themselves. So now, this is who I think is going to join them. I believe Sheeta is coming back. Sheeta will be back. Willow Nightingale and Thunder Rosa. That would be the AEW Originals. As for the WWE girls, I don't know yet. We had to stay tuned. That's what I like about this. I'm like, all right, Cat's been warning. We've been wanting that story. That is what we want, because obviously this is going to lead to blood and guts, ladies and gentlemen. The first ever female women's blood and guts match is going to lead to it. And I pray to God, when they get in that blood and guts, that the girls protect the mess out of each other. I know you have to beat each other up. You got to bust each other open. But please protect one another. That is all we ask, because it's been a lot of injuries that's been happening on the AEW's watch that ain't been no good. So, but obviously, that is where we're moving. I thought the triple threat was great. I thought the girls did what they had to do for what it was. Everybody protected one another. Jamie retains. But Ruby Soho has made up her mind that she rolling with the ex-WWE girls. So, hey, greatest storytelling in my book. Some people might not like it, but hey, that's just me. This is my personal perspective on the situation. I thought it was good. So, now, the most violent, insane to the membrane, crazy, cuckoo clock match. Listen, I've seen some hardcore crazy matches. I've seen some hardcore crazy matches. This one, dang near takes the cake. Now, this story has basically been building ever since Adam Hangman got knocked out by Moxley. So the two of them already had a built-in beef because of that situation. The two of these cats went out here and just straight murdered each other. I'm talking about murder. So I seen clowns on the IWC crying. Raj Giri was crying about this. Talk about it's too much blood and all this stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, you know it's called a Texas Death Match. You knew that this was going to be that one match where they was going to go and they was going to be cutting each other open, doing some of the most insane to the membrane, crazy, just crazy. Moxley, you know, listen, he can't have it any better. He can't. And the fact this fool pulled out a doggone fork, trying to stab that man in the head. They had barbed wires wrapping around. I mean, just crazy. I mean, this was. I'm watching this stuff and I'm like, ooh. I'm watching this, y'all. I was like, man, this is insane. I said, this is an insane, crazy match, just crazy as a basketball. I said, y'all. Cats flying through barbed wire tables, whacking each other in the head with chairs, and the scene where Moxley had put Hangman's hand between those two bricks, dang near breaking the man's. I mean, insane. So Moxley basically dominated this whole match, and Hangman did what he was supposed to do, and also too, Hangman's new theme song. I like it. I think I like the original one better, but I'm just let this one play out. I'm cool with it. I don't have a problem with it, but I still prefer his original. That's just my perspective. But this whole thing was about who gonna beat the snot at each other first. Like, who is legit going to who gonna keep the other clown down? Because you could have called this a last man standing match. You could have called this a falls count anywhere. These fools just murdered each other. No interference from nobody. That's how you like it. Just cats just bleeding all over the place, trying to see who is the main dog in the AEW when it comes to this violent stuff. Hangman then pulled out the doggone chain at the end and basically choked Moxley. Had that man hanging like he was hanging him for real. Choking the mess out of that man. And Moxley, for the first time, I don't think I ever seen it. For the first time, Moxley was legit tapping out. And sorry to my hardcore Moxley fans, but it's time for your boy to take a vacation. It's time. That man has been well deserved. And I say, you know what? I don't have a problem with it. Hangman retains. Hangman wins, like I called it. I said he was going to win. But it could have went either way based off the reactions. I mean, fans was going crazy out there in 49er land. Fans online tripping. I mean, there was a lot of people that was enjoying it. A lot of people. But, you had your usual people that was like, you know what I'm saying? And I get it. This style may not be for everybody. Because a lot of people have been so conditioned by watching PG WWE that's all they know. I'm like, fools, did you watch ECW back in the day? I used to watch ECW, and they used to do all that crazy stuff. Sandman, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, all them clowns busted each other. Bob Wire, just crazy. Terry Funk, I mean, just crazy. The Dudleys, Mick Foley, all them clowns. I mean, just doing the craziest of the crazy. But this match right here just takes the icing off the cake. This was one heck of a violent match. Hangman gets the victory. And ladies and gentlemen, I think this feud should be done. It should be over. And the BCC came out there to take their boy out. They was looking kind of upset at the man, and Hangman just walks off, and that's that. I mean, they tore each other up. I can say that. Hey, like I said, this may not be people's style. They might not like this perspective, but I mean, I'm telling you, these cats tore each other up. They tore each other up, and I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. So, kudos to the both of these cats. But hey, man, he's the more violent guy. As crazy as Moxley is, because this is Moxley's bread and butter. Heck, even Renee was online talking about SOS because she had to sit up there and watch her man do this crazy stuff. I know she tired of it. She tired of this clown doing all this goofy stuff, but that's what he do. This is how he moved. He loved getting busted open, and he loved letting somebody choke the mess out of him. Listen, I guarantee you, while he was sitting up there getting choked, he probably was sitting up there saying this in himself to his head, like, "Ah, man, this is great. I love being choked." Just asking on some goofy stuff, real silly. But hey, the fellas did what they had to do. So we are moving on now. This was unfortunately the cool off spot. This was the death spot because ain't nowhere in the world nobody was going to be able to follow that. Nobody. We get Samoa Joe, TNT champion, taking on Mr. Wardlow. And throughout this entire match, they showed Mr. Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse did appear on the pre-show. Wheelhouse was sitting up there and they kept putting the camera on him and the crowd was going crazy because obviously he's from the Bay Area. So I'm sitting up and saying to myself, Samoa Joe must retain if Hobbs is going to win. Samoa Joe must retain. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, I heard my man King Mike. King Mike actually wanted Samoa Joe to lose. So, obviously, if there's any match on this show that King Mike actually probably... It's funny. This is the one match I didn't give a crap about because I think, personally, for me, I think this was... If I had to go look at all the matches again, I think this was by far the weakest match on the show. But it still was a okay match. And obviously this was the death spot. This was the cool off. But King Mike's guy ends up winning. Samoa Joe basically had the Khmer clutch on him. And he was trying to choke the mess out of him. But Wardlow said, hey, no, I'm not getting choked out. He ended up choking him out with his move. Wardlow choked out Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe is done. So that tells me that Samoa Joe is moving on to Ring of Honor TV. So that way he can defend the Ring of Honor TV title. He'll be on this. Now, Tony Khan must revamp Wardlow again. And I don't know if we can get him back to, as King Mike calls him, Batista 2.0 status. I'm not sure. But that just tells me right now, my boy Hobbs is not winning on Wednesday night. He ain't. It won't make any type of sense for Wardlow to win the TNT title and then hand it over. It's not, because people already be complaining about them hot potatoing this title too much. Now, we had to revamp Wardlow. And Wardlow talked about it at the press conference that he's looking forward to making open challenges again. That's what he wants to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we must revamp this man again and get him back to relevancy, because hot potatoing the doggone TNT title is not the answer. The TNT title must become relevant again. Tony Khan has 2 titles that he must make relevant again. That's the Trios Championships and the TNT title. Those 2 titles have been the coldest when it's concerned all his titles. The tag team, I know a lot of people have been crying about the tag team. I actually don't have a problem with the tag team division right now because it's about the next generation. Outside of Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, which I don't care nothing about them clowns. But the rest of them cool, the rest of them cats I'm cool with. But like I said, for me, I think this is the weakest match on the show. Wardlow won. Hey, kudos to him. I just prefer Samoa Joe winning. But hey, this is what Tony Khan wants. So unfortunately, our boy Hobbs is losing, ladies and gentlemen. Foregone conclusion. He's losing on Wednesday night. It is what it is. So we get to the Fatal 4-Way. So the A-Boys, they come out first. They come to the scene first. Next, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Sat Nasin come out. Then Danhausen and OC come out, and followed by the Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster with Billy Gunn. And they do their little spew. They do that. Crowd goes crazy. Y'all know how they do. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't care about this match going into it, but overall, this match actually turned out to be a very entertaining match. And for somebody who I don't like Danhausen at all, because I'm still trying to understand why in the world is this clown that over. The man kind of showed me something tonight. He did a little couple of moves in this matchup. I said, and obviously the crowd, they loved him. He came out there dressed up looking exactly like OC. And I was watching this, and I mean, listen, I thought, I don't care for Jay Lethal. I like Jay Lethal as a wrestler, but him and Jeff Jarrett, y'all already know. The Guns, they have worked on me so much. They just like the Acclaim. I didn't care for neither one of these tag teams at first. I was like, you know what, throw these clowns out. Don't care nothing about them. But they found a way to get over with me, and I thought they did a great job in this match. Anthony Bourne's Maskcaster, I mean, come on. Come on now. I mean, what else can I say about the Acclaim? I mean, right now, the Acclaim are my favorite tag team in AEW right now. But you knew they weren't going over. So obviously they didn't do what I thought they was going to do. The Guns actually went over clean. They tried to make you think that Jeff and Jarrett and Jay Lethal was going to walk out. Thank God, because that would have been a terrible decision. Ain't nobody trying to see them as tag team champs. Nobody. The Acclaim tried. They really tried. It looked like they was going to get their titles back. It wasn't. Then you had Dan and OC trying to do a little something, and they didn't do it. So the A-Boys found the way. And it's funny how before the matchup, the A-Boys, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, was basically trying to link up, say, hey, let's take care of the baby faces so we can focus on each other. And then that went straight out the door when they basically said we got to take one another out because it's every man for themselves. I personally thought this was a very entertaining tag team match. The right team went over. The Guns retained. And as soon as they retained, Renee pops out there. They hop on the mic. They talked about, I hope y'all mad now because we still the best in the world. We went through everybody, and they including FTR. And after they named all the tag team names, whose music pops off, everybody been talking about how Dax and Cash been talking about they running back to the E. That's all I've been hearing. They going back to the E. They going back to the E. They going back to the E. And then they popped. They came out there. The crowd went completely ape. They went nuts. They went crazy as heck. I said, welcome back. I said, ladies and gentlemen, the tag team division just shot right back up because FTR was heavily missed. I say, ladies and gentlemen, that is your next tag team picture, and they will be your next tag team champs. It's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it is bound to happen. So they got in the ring with them. They took their behinds out, and they somehow, I don't know how, Dax found a way to get himself busted. I don't know what he did. But he was bleeding on the side. I was like, how this fool, he didn't even wrestle, and he found a way to get busted open. But outside of that, I thought this was a pretty good match. Like I said, very entertaining. They did what they had to do, and the right team went over. And now, boom, there you have it. The A-Boys versus FTR. It sets itself up. The story is there. They got the story. Let's roll with it. You ain't got to do no other extra stuff. It's all about the story from here on out, moving in. I'm telling you. Just do that. You do that, we're going to be off for the fences. We are going to be off for the fences, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling y'all right now, we're going to be off for the fences, for real. So, that's that. So, before we get to the main event, like I said, I watched this show and I said, all right, everything has been ramped. I said, Tony Khan did what he had to do. I told you, match placement is what makes a pay-per-view. Match placement is what makes or breaks a pay-per-view, and the crowd's reaction last night told you that this was a fantastic show. So, Bryan comes out first, crowd going nuts for him, and then lights go off, and now you hear like an orchestra playing, and then lights pop back on, and you hear, you see a bunch of clowns looking like devil worshippers, but the orchestra. And I'm sitting up here laughing like, oh, so this fool got himself a doggone orchestra to play himself out. I said, you know what? Hey, do what you got to do, right? So MJF comes out, but he has that same devil mask that he had on at All Out. So now right now, guess who's going through my head right now? CM Punk is going through my head. Like, I'm thinking about CM Punk. I said, that's the same devil mask right there that he had on when he pulled back up at All Out. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Iron Man matches, I know a lot of people say when this match goes on and on and on and on and on, people be wondering how the heck do you stay invested in an extra long man match? Because you can easily doze off so quickly because cats are out there wrestling. But the name of the game is to tell a story. And if you tell that story in a said match, people will be invested. Ladies and gentlemen, MJF and Bryan Danielson told a outstanding story in this matchup. It started Neither one of them got a pin for the first half of the match because the two of them were so busy just trying to out wrestle each other. And I like what MJF did. MJF was really playing off the fact that Bryan was tiring him out. So he kept running out there to drink some water. Now, during the match, you know how MJF like to go out in the crowd and be doing some real shanky type of stuff. Now, most of the time, the people that be out there that he be doing the disrespectful stuff to, most of those people be plants. Ladies and gentlemen, last night, he went up to a black woman and her son. They were not plants, ladies and gentlemen. And when he did what he did, he threw some water on her son. Apparently, the fans said that man was upset. Brody Lee's wife had to come out there, and I think Will Hobbs had to calm him down. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care how good MJF is. MJF, you don't do that to us. Now, listen, I understand that you got other people that do that. They accept that stuff. When you start doing that stuff to us, either we have to be plants. If not, don't you dare do no foolishness like that, because you know you do some foolishness like that, you know what that mess gonna look like. I ain't even got to talk about it. So the fact is, Tony Khan said that dude gonna be, him and his mama gonna be able to pull up on Dynamite. I'm like, listen, I don't give a care. I'm like, you don't look. If I'm not a plant, don't you dare do no foolishness like that, because I'm gonna lay your behind out. Them clowns gonna have to arrest me. I ain't nowhere in the world. Don't you dare do no stupid stuff like that unless they come to me and say, hey, we gonna do this, we gonna pay you. Y'all just have to be plants. But the fact that Tony Khan and them didn't go to that woman and didn't go to that son, listen, you don't do no foolishness like that. I don't give a crap. Other folk, they might like that stuff. They might be cool with that. But don't you dare do no foolishness like that. Because see, now, because it was a black boy and a black mother, you already know where everybody was going. You already know. I was like, don't you dare do no stupid stuff like that. So if it's one mark from the matchup that I had to subtract, it's that stupid stuff right there. I said, MJF, go to people that's plants. But he did that stupid stuff, and the fact that the little boy was crying and they had to calm him down. No. And I get it. I understand people like, oh, this is MJF. No. If it's cats that's cool with it, you do that to them. Don't you dare come over here doing some stuff to cats like us, and we ain't cool with it, because cats will lay your behind out for real. We'll check your behind for real. That's why I said the mother, she was upset. The little boy was crying. I said, look, don't. And said that's because when he did that, and I'm sitting up here saying, I don't know if they're plants. Sure enough, Sean Ross Sapp and so many other people online was actually confirming that they weren't plants. So, and then I seen people online trying to justify, say, oh, it because MJF did it to the black dude and the black mother and the black son, he ain't. I'm like, listen, did we say he was racist? I just said this. Look what it looked like. Look what it looked like. That's all I'm gonna say. The fact that they was not plants. Don't you dare go do that. Don't you dare go do the stupid stuff. I don't give a crap. I know this is your character and this is how you get down. But don't you dare go do that to some people that's not no plants. That's some bull jab. I don't care how you look at it. People can tell me, oh, you sensitive. Oh, no. Because you would get checked in a minute. I'm just telling you right now, you would get G-checked. You would get G-checked real fast. I don't care how you look at it. So, if it's any knock against this match, it's that stupid stuff that MJF did. So, after that, they get back in the ring. Now, 30 minutes done gone by. Still nothing. He's getting a little quote-unquote tired, but he's playing up to it. Now, Bryan is basically toying with him the whole time. I'm talking about, like, you see this man, and it's like MJF is trying everything in his power to try to take this man out. It didn't work. So, with him doing all this shenanigans and all this foolishness, Bryan gets the first pinfall. He gets him. So now, we like I said, we passed the 30 part. We in the 20. We're getting close to the 20. Then MJF finds a way to get a pin on him because he lays him out. But then check this out. As soon as he lays him out and does it, he pins him. Then he pins him again. As I said, he got 2 quick pins. So then I don't even remember when Bryan got his second pin. But see, now it's 2-2. So now they go outside, and this is when MJF's doggone knee. See, MJF, if y'all been peeping the game with MJF's knee has been the storyline throughout most of his matches. He tried to play up this fact that his knee just be bothering him all the time. So they went out there. They put Bryan put him through MJF put him through the doggone announce table and all this stuff. So now Bryce is playing his role perfectly. Bryce is doing what he had to do. Bryce is out here trying to make sure he called the match down fair and all this stuff. So then now we get back into the ring. MJF pins him again. Now it's 3-2. So now we're moving into the 19s. We're moving to 18s right now. So now what does he do? He keep hopping out. He keep drinking the water. He keep lipping, doing all this stuff. And the crowd, let me tell y'all something. The crowd was so freaking invested. I mean, we was watching everything. We was on the edge of our seat. Because then that's when Bryan said, all right, screw this foolishness. I done toyed with this clown so long. I'm about to make this clown pay. I'm about to make this fool wish he never got in the ring with me, because I am hands down the best technical wrestler on the planet. This fool can't hang with me. Boom. He gets back in there. He does what he has to do. And this thing is tied, ladies and gentlemen. This thing is tied 3-3. And the crowd is going ape. They going nuts. They going crazy. I said, ladies and gentlemen, anything can happen. So now the clock is winding down. We getting down. We get into the last 5 minutes. We get into the last 3 minutes. We get into the last minute. So both of them are bleeding like crazy. I say, look, the crimson red. I say, it's something when the heel bleeds. Because see, the babyface bleed all the time. It's something when the heel bleed and you can't stand they butt. The crowd loved it. They was talking about you deserve it. So with all the foolishness going on, right? Get down. Clocking. We clocking. And then there was a part. Hold on. No, that's coming up. So we get down. It's 10 seconds. Bryan has that man in the submission, about to make that man tap. He about to tap. And it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as soon as we hit 0, MJF started tapping. Well, you know, the crowd was like, oh, no, ain't no way the word this match finna end on the draw. Ain't no way. So the crowd was like, this is BS. It's some bull jive. Just some crap. So we see over there, Tony Schiavone is like, he talking with TK. And he getting excited. And the fans, they start going nuts. They're like, oh, no, this ain't nowhere near over. This ain't over. And then you see Bryan over there hawking up and everything. So then he tells Justin Roberts. And Justin Roberts said, due to the situation and word from Tony Khan, with the situation that happened, this match will not finish in a draw. And that crowd went ape. They went crazy. I say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Grade A classic storytelling in wrestling. This is what we want. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can build the story up going into a freaking match and then we get to said match, you got yourself a heck of a show. Bryan Danielson and MJF got back in there and see, now MJF is so freaking desperate that he goes and grabs the doggone title. Bryce said that if you use that championship, you're gonna lose the match, and I'm gonna go ahead and make Bryan Danielson the doggone champion. So he just furious. So then he tried to use the diamond ring. Bryce catches him. He's like, you ain't using that thing. So right then, that's when Bryan said, I'm gonna take advantage of this. Bryan knocks him out. Bryan finna try to do the submission hold. And he looked like he finna tap. But then what does he do? Now Bryce is got his back turned for some reason, and then this when he was able to low blow him. So he low blowed the man, and then he thought that was gonna be the finish. No. So Bryan somehow flings him out the ring. Now, during the aftermath of the first half of before we went to overtime, MJF needed the doggone oxygen tank to quote unquote gasp for air or whatever, but that's part of the script. So that oxygen tank, he used the oxygen tank, and the oxygen tank was in his hands. And then here come Bryan. Bryan comes out of nowhere and he's crawling up to him. Somehow Bryce didn't see him. He whacks Bryan, whacks him in the head, hops in there, does his finisher. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen multiple Iron Man matches, but I've never seen an Iron Man match where I was that invested, where I was on the edge of my seat, and I dang near thought that Bryan Danielson was going to pull the upset. They tore it up. It was so doggone excellent. I say, ladies and gentlemen, if Tony Khan wants to get you invested, the boy can do it. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I saw this, I watched it, and I just walked away and said, we just witnessed a classic wrestling match. It was by far the greatest Iron Man match I've ever seen in my life. I don't give a care what nobody got to say. I understand. I know cats wanted Bryan to win, but you knew dang well that boy wasn't going to win. You already knew it, but they did a great job. Just like with Sammy's situation, they did a great job making you think Sammy was going over. Same situation. They did a great job making you feel, making you want it. You wanted Bryan to win. You wanted him to beat the evil MJF. You wanted it. But that circus clown found the way to overcome the superhero known as Bryan Danielson. Ladies and gentlemen, MJF has arrived. He's been arrived. I've been on this dude bandwagon. Ladies and gentlemen, outside of that garbage he did earlier that I cooked him because that was stupid. It was disrespectful like a mother. Don't you dare do no foolishness like that again. But MJF and Bryan Danielson gave us an outstanding classic, ladies and gentlemen. Man, storytelling, ladies and gentlemen, goes hand in hand with wrestling. It goes together. You can't just wrestle and not be able to tell the story. And that's exactly what these two men did. Bryce did what he had, and then the fact that you had Tony Schiavone on commentary, because Tony Schiavone wanted to see this man fail so bad too. And I said it was the right call to have Tony, Excalibur, and Taz out there. It was great. And early they had JR out there to do what he had to do. But then for the main event, you had Tony out there because obviously you know Tony can't stand MJF. You know he can't. And to see that situation, because he got giddy when we wasn't going to finish on the doggone draw. And then to witness that, you feel some kind of way. And I say that is called grade A storytelling. That is it. This is why I get on Tony Khan's case. So many of us get on this dude's case. We get on his case because he's capable of telling stories if he wants to. Doing all this dumb stuff on TV don't make a lick of sense. Could you imagine if this fool put effort into getting us hyped for this doggone show? And then we walk away from saying Tony Khan and them did an outstanding job, not only getting us hyped for the show, but we walked away saying that this is by far one of the greatest pay-per-views he ever put on. I'm like, it's not hard, man. Just tell the freaking story. Don't do no stupid stuff. Don't do no dumb stuff. Because if you do stupid stuff, cats like myself, cats like King Mike, cats like Just Alex, cats like OTR's Essential, etc., well, we going to destroy the show. We going to get in on your case. We're not finna sit up here and sugarcoat and be like, oh yeah, this was great. No, we're going to cook you and say that you was doing bull jive. Stellar performance tonight. Well, last night. I walked away wanting to see Dynamite. I said, Tony Khan, now, what you did right here, open the show with MJF. Do not open the show with a freaking match. MJF comes out and he greets the fans and he points at everybody and says, I made a lie out of you. What did you? You said I couldn't hang with him. You said I couldn't hang. I want MJF to open the freaking show and just laugh at everybody's face. Because the superhero Bryan Danielson came up short. Even though he had to cheat to win. But he hung in with that man 67, if I'm not mistaken. 67 minutes. So a little bit over an hour. He was able to hang with that man. This is what is called grade A storytelling. MJF opens the show. This is what we need. We need to open the show with story. Now, is Heyman next in line? He might be. Heyman might be next in line. So, open the show with MJF. Story. Don't give me no doggone match. I'm not trying to see a match open up Dynamite. I'm not. I'm over it. Give me a freaking story, because you can do it. He can. Tony Khan, you can do it. It's no excuse. We witnessed it last night. It's no freaking excuse. Your behind can do it. You can do it, man. Listen, great job last night. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll walk away from this show. I don't give 10s. I tell you, I was close, but I do not give 10s. I don't. Because if I gave 10s all the time, y'all would call me a hardcore shield. I can't. For me, I thought this was a 9 out of 10. Easy. Easy 9 out of 10. Easy. Great show. And I have absolutely no idea what Triple H and them going to do, because they on the clock tonight. H of them is on the clock tonight. Ain't nowhere in the world WrestleMania topping this. I don't care what they do. They can have Cody win. They can have Sammy and them win. Ain't no way in the world. Sorry to my hardcore WWE heads. Ain't nowhere in the world WrestleMania topping this. The best WrestleMania he can do is a 7 out of 10. I'm telling you. That's the best. Maybe an 8. But ain't nowhere in the world they topping this. None. Because as of right now, I only care about one match. I don't care about nothing else that's happening on the show. They killed all of their momentum because they really ain't built it. They killed it. Now we still, like I said, we got tonight. We got Friday. We got, like I said, we got 4 episodes left. We got let's see. Yeah, no, 8. 4 Raws, 4 SmackDowns. So maybe by then I'll be a little bit more hyped. But as of right now, I'm at a 10%. That's where I am for WrestleMania. I'm at a 10%. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like this show, tell me why you like the show. Tell me what you give the show. If you did not, and please don't give me no biased answer. Just tell me why you didn't like the show. Hit the comment section up. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. I tell y'all all the time, I give y'all the best I can when I can. Like I said, I would love to do the live stuff, but I'm still trying to learn how to go live. Like I said, I'm watching other people do it. Like I said, shout out to King Mike, because I like how King Mike does his. Sometimes King Mike don't go live, sometimes he does, but I like how he does it. He has his setup, and I want to try to get my setup to where I can say, where I'm able to go live. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I walked away excited for Dynamite. I say we need Dynamite and we need Rampage to be on point. It's no excuse, none. Tony Khan does not have a single excuse. I don't give a care about no freaking ratings. I don't care about him talking about I got like 18 million announcements. You don't have a single excuse with the stellar performance that your boys and girls gave us last night. Your men and women, because most of them are grown men and women. Stellar performance. Let's get this on TV. Let's get this on TV, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, this is your boy KCFL King Self for Life. I'm signing out. Hit the comment section up. I will talk to y'all cats. I will do my best to be here for Dynamite. I will do my best, because I miss talking to y'all on Wednesday nights. I will do my best. The aftermath of Revolution episode should be great, but it's on TK's hand. TK got to give it to us. He got to be the one to book this stuff right. He has to, because he has absolutely no excuse. I'll talk to y'all cats later. Holla at your boy.